Welcome to Guild Wars 2, Snowden Drifts, Quests, and Points of Interest. First off, let's head north from Dawn Rise Waypoint in Wayfarer Foothills to get to the map. There's more than likely a scout in this outpost out here, so let's go talk to them and see what's going on with this map.
The road here used to be filled with traffic going to and from Lion's Arch. But now, even caravans with armed escorts aren't safe. Those sons of Svanir youngsters keep acting up and causing trouble. But the creatures corrupted by Jormag's ice are the greater threat. If you could help the Lion Guard secure and protect the area, I'm sure the spirits would smile upon you.
Well, let's head west then, just a bit, and start the first quest of the map. Its actual location and where it counts and doesn't count things can be a bit finicky. Regardless, this quest involves killing wolves, which can summon other wolves, healing / reviving various hunters which are unconscious, lying around, and checking traps which sometimes contain wolves. Now, let's head back north to the road, and we'll head west towards the next quest. And we'll also be avoiding as much of the Icebrood that litter the road. Now, this quest involves destroying as much of the Icebrood that are blocking the road, which is some of this corrupted ice up here, as well as killing any Icebrood we tend to come across. Now, some of that corrupted ice can fight back by creating those AoE fields, which are very nasty because they can add the debuff Chill to you. Now we're just going to head towards this direction to revive the scout. This scout has a tendency to die a lot, for no particular reason. He just does.
Jormag's corruption runs deep in these mountains. It warps everything, even the ice itself. The Lion Guard fights to keep the roads safe, but we just can't keep up anymore. Now even the steadholders are having trouble getting through. We could really use some help dealing with these challenges.
Now we're going to want to head this direction to the southwest in order to pick up the point of interest for Blasted Haven. Unfortunately, there's often a boss running around there, so be sure and be careful. With that, let's finish up the quest and head back towards that scout. We're going to take a quick, really short dive into this Dredge cave to just uncover a bit of the map. There's nothing important in there. this village is kind of special because this is our first official introduction to the Kodan, a race of anthropomorphic polar bears, who might actually be ancestors of the Norn. We'll talk more about that later. There isn't really much up here, just this waypoint. We'll get that skill challenge later. This quest involves killing more Icebrood, specifically these wolves. You can also supposedly help the crafters. I've never actually found them or done it, but supposedly you can. Now, Homestead has not only a waypoint for us, but its hunters are plagued by these Icebrood. So we can help them by, you guessed it, killing even more Icebrood and corrupted ice. Regardless, we need to keep heading west here because the hunters are out in this general direction, and so's the rest of everything else we need to kill. Now, these wolves can be a problem only if you try and revive this one hunter.
Thanks.
Now, I feel we've gone a little too far in this direction, so we're gonna head back to Homestead and head south. Now that we've got the Merheim waypoint, let's head back in the general direction of where we were before. Now, we are a bit further west from where we were before, but the journey back was very uneventful. Now, here we have an interesting thing going on. The Quaggan of Lashgush are living in this aquatic environment, which you wouldn't expect them to do. Sadly, this current environment is currently poisoned because of all sorts of poisonous urchins, which, sadly, I can't find. All of them. But what there is there is a point of interest down here. Quaggan are also conveniently located near this waypoint over here. There's also a point of interest north of this waypoint at Dangar's Homestead. Don't forget about it. Now, we're gonna head back south and continuing our journey west towards Centaur country.
My team was attacked while scouting for centaurs around Darkhoof Heights. We knew they were hitting the Seraph Outrider camp, but it seems they've been targeting the Priory at Scholar's Cleft too. Unfortunately, we can't redeploy until everyone's recovered. I hope they can both recruit some help in the meantime.
Now, this road is very interesting because on the left is the quest involving the Sons of Svandir, and on the right, one involving centaurs. Let's deal with the Icebrood first, shall we? We can kill them, or their banners, to progress this quest.
Maximum adrenaline.
With them dealt with, let's go visit the other antagonists of the area, the centaurs. There are 3 things we can do here. We can kill centaurs, recover some lost artifacts, and destroy their supplies. All 3 of them work well and are very efficient. The drop-off point for the artifacts is on the west side of the quest location, fairly well hidden in plain sight.
Excelsior.
Now, as we continue west, we're going to stumble upon this fork in the road here. We're going to head north. Now, the German Priory have a research base here called Scholar's Cleft. And it's one of the more prominent ones, depending on where you take your personal story. But, for us running the map, all there is for us is a waypoint. Now, heading back south to the previous junction, we stumble into our next quest, helping out the Seraph by, you guessed it, killing centaurs, Sons of Svandir, and destroying Sons of Svandir banners. Fortunately, there is a waypoint over here. Otherwise, we probably would get lost, you know, being a few meters from the last one. I seriously think this map is a little oversaturated on the north side with its waypoints. Now, we're gonna have to head to the southwest until we hit Snowden waypoint. Now, I would like to spend a little bit of time talking about the Kodan, the anthropomorphic polar bears we saw earlier. They're one of the older races, and not the elder races, one of the older races, and they come from the far north. They were driven from their home by the dragon Jormag, who the Sons of Svandir worship. They have a tribal leadership, and it's split between two heads, and those heads work together as one. The voice hears the words of Koda, their god, and speaks these words, and the claw acts and interprets these words. These two share a bond that can feel if something is happening to the other. We'll have more lore involving some potential Nord origins later. Now, from here, we can help the people of Snowden, who are under constant pressure from the Dredge, because the Dredge have a camp nearby. Now, sadly, there isn't anything special about Snowden, so let's follow the Dredge to their home base. This quest is easy enough. All you have to do is kill a bunch of Dredge, which isn't that easy because the Dredge are just awful. Regardless, let's head west from this awful Dredge cave to find a more interesting and less annoying quest. Now, this small town of Merheim is having a difficult winter, it appears, and needs our help hunting. Their preferred animal of choice is a bit odd, being a predator. But hey, meat's meat. Also, we can keep young children entertained, which is always fun to do. The guards apparently also need to be entertained as well, so beat them up with all bunch of sharp objects.
If you're drinking, I'm brewing.
Humor contests are apparently a thing with the Norn. They have to compete for everything, don't they?
This is a bad time to be traveling.
Anyway, that out of the way, let's head on to the main thing you want to do for this quest. Killing and bringing meat to the chef. This is their animal of choice. Reviving hunters helps also.
The spirits of the wild welcome you.
Now we're going to want to head east from Merheim to pick up Lonar's waypoint. One waypoint that will prove useful when we want to explore Lonar's Pass later down the road.
Score one for me.
There is something a bit odd with all these ballistas and targets up here, but personally I've never figured out why either of them are here. Now, for some more Kodan Norn lore. No one knows where the Norn came from. Their own legends just say they were dying, and the spirits of the wild came to them and aided them. Nothing more is really known. Except there is a lost tribe of Kodan whose voice and claw both died, and they literally got lost, both physically and spiritually. It kind of matches with the Norn lore, but no one Norn or Kodan are willing to say for sure that's what happened. But the Kodan do have a massive empathy to the Norn, and they seek to guide them to balance. Possibly for the second time. Anyway, having picked up that waypoint, let's continue to head a bit east. And we'll get a good section of the middle of the map out of the way before we turn back south. Well, we're kind of blocked by this bridge needing defenders. Nothing to see here. Unfortunately, there isn't much to do at Snowdrift here, but pick up the waypoint, and one very, very sneaky point of interest. The sneaky point of interest can be found by heading towards the river over here. In fact, it's in the river. We'll see you all next time in part 2, soon. This is Stomping Llama. Signing out.